Your frequency is what you frequently see. And what that means is that wherever your mindset is at, wherever your mood is at, is what you will see in the world. So if you're in a bad mood, then everything seems like shit. And the world seems like shit. If you're in a good mood, then everything seems good. The world seems good. If you're in an angry mood, you just see angriness. You just see negative energy. So this is really interesting because it makes you start to think, like, wait, is this thing ever bad? Or am I just in a bad mood? And you honestly need to understand that nothing is bad. Nothing is good. All of these words and labels are literally just determined by you and your perception. To a certain extent. I mean, I think, for example, harming others is a bad thing, no matter what. Pretty much. And then, being nice to others is a good thing, no matter what. But that's kind of it. From there on, it's just subjective. So, yeah, I mean, for example, right now it's 6 a.m. I'm walking. The sun is about to come up. I'm talking on this camera, doing my daily YouTube video I gotta do. And it's interesting because from my perspective, I'm grateful I can do this. I'm grateful, I'm happy. I actually really like these videos. They kind of warm me up. They get me better at speaking. They get me better at articulating my thoughts. So I'm happy about it, right? That's me. And that's because I consider myself a really high frequency person. I think I'm usually operating at a pretty high frequency. And I'm also very aware when I'm not in this high frequency, and when I'm in a lower one, I try not to identify with that as much as I can. So I view it like that, right? Now, some people, if you're in a low frequency, you might view this action that I'm doing as, I don't know, it's actually really interesting. It's hard for me to even imagine what they could think. But for example, someone could think, oh man, I gotta make this video. I don't want to make this video. I don't want to talk and use all this energy and exert myself. And I'm in public. So what if someone thinks I'm weird? What if when I post this, people don't like it and I get a negative comment? What if my friends from school don't like me? Right? This is what a low frequency individual will be thinking about this video. But those thoughts don't creep into my mind because I'm not operating at that frequency. And here's the really important part, because what you should be asking yourself is, okay, we get it. Then how do you get into a higher frequency? That becomes the really important question here. Apologies for the wind. The way you get into a higher frequency, it's really this simple. You start to do the things you would do if you were in that desired frequency. It's kind of crazy. So let's say you are at a low frequency, okay? If you do the things that you would do, that it feels right, quote unquote, to do when you're in that low frequency, then all that's gonna happen is you're gonna stay in that low frequency. That's what's gonna happen. In other words, you don't change, you don't move. Because you're going with the current. So why would you? Now, if you are at the low frequency and you start to operate as if you were in the highest frequency. And for those of you who don't know, the frequency chart, which is this real thing, it's super interesting. It goes from shame, which is like the lowest emotion, all the way to love, enlightenment, peace, right? Peace, love, enlightenment. These are the highest frequency emotions you can feel. Joy, peace, love, enlightenment. If you're in the lowest frequency and you start to act and do the things you would do if you were operating from a place of love, let's just say that's the case. So for example, let's say you feel like shit, like for whatever reason you woke up feeling horrible, right? But you walk outside and you start to act and behave in a way that you would when you feel a lot of love inside you. So you walk outside and you give compliments to people, you talk to people, you talk on the camera, you give value to the world, you smile, you go like head up high, upright. Maybe you buy a coffee at some coffee shop, not because you need the coffee, but just because you wanted to tip the person extra money. And you ask them how their day is going, and you give them some value on whatever they were talking about. I guarantee you, if you were to do these actions, as opposed to just staying home and being pitiful, this is how you actually snap into the next frequency. This is how you do it, because you're not going with the current now, you're going against it. It's funny, I keep saying current. I guess that's what my subconscious mind is like thinking about. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And guess what? If you're in a high frequency, the same applies. You know how you get from a high to a low frequency? Is you start to do or behave in a way that is a low frequency. That's the surefire way. Now, sure, there can be external situations in your life, tough situations that can make you snap into a lower frequency, of course. And the same goes for the high frequency, right? You could just win the lottery and then you like get super happy and you feel with joy and peace. That could also happen. You can't depend on that. The external world, it has many variables and it goes up and down and up and down. You can't depend on these things, man. At the end of the day, what you fully have control over is your actions. Your actions, your attitude, how you behave. And that's why this has to be the thing that you get validated by. It has to be. More than anything. This is your one true love of life is you, your actions, your expression. So to wrap this up, the frequency is what you frequently see. You build a higher frequency by acting as if you were in the high frequency. And just be mindful of that from now on. From now on, when you feel like the world sucks, when you feel like someone's mean, when you feel like someone hurt you, when you feel like blah, 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 when you feel like, oh my God, everything seems so bad. Understand you're probably operating from fear, from anger, from apathy, from shame, from guilt, from whatever it is. It's just your frequency. It's not the thing. I always talk about this subject. It's so important. So remember, guys, raise that frequency, because guess what? If you go to the beginning of this video, and if you go to now, you might even see it in my eyes. You might feel it in my energy. My frequency was raised. Why? Because I just gave value. I just made you feel better. I just gave you some information that might just save your fucking life. I just operated from love. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk soon. Peace.